Okay, great. So we're recording now. So can we start by just agreeing that we can share this publicly with a thumbs up, Tatiana? Great, thank you so much. I'm gonna, let you run the meeting how you want to run the meeting. I have a few things I want to share. I'm sure I'll share along the way, but I just want to, let you kind of set the stage for where we're at with the team and, what you think there is to focus on. And like we were just talking about, what your availability is, between now and the end of the project for us to be able to kind of, figure out how to optimize the use of your hours that we have left.
Okay, so I'll go straight right into the agenda that I had.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
So I guess, we shared the video, decided to make it public, confirmed, and I'll take the minutes for today's meeting.
Thank you.
And then I guess if we go straight through the agenda, I just wanted to have like a quick update on the handbook. I know it's like always there, but I just want to see exactly how it's like, or how it's been coming along.
How it's been evolving. Yeah, it really hasn't been coming along much at all. I mean, I haven't been looking at it much in the last couple weeks. It's a sad story, and it's I don't know how well. I was thinking about it today in terms of like a new idea of a deadline. I would like to think that maybe we can do it within the next 2 weeks, but at the same time, I'm thinking it may happen actually over Christmas is when I may finally actually get to it. So it's hard for me to know exactly. I would like to have something ready for the new students coming in as they're coming in. But there's still just so many different other things that are ahead in line right now in terms of, attention. So I don't know what else to say about it right now other than that. Yeah.
I think like if from my own input, I feel like definitely have at least something prepared by probably the spring semester. Just that's when maybe when students officially start joining, and that's the start of it. That's when they should probably have at least something to sign off that that they're completing an internship with you.
Yeah, I agree. And thank you for bringing that up. And I do think that that's where, even as, people are saying that they're interested, that I want to have, they have the whole thing there for them to, look at and review in advance. So they don't say, oh, I'm interested, but now that I read this, now I'm not interested, type of thing. We need to make sure that everybody's on board with everything. So I appreciate you bringing that up again. So let's put it on the calendar for 2 weeks from today, and I will. That's a time frame that may be doable. So let's see what I can do with that.
Okay. Just add that. And then the next thing.
So let's put the date, what date that is. That's the 12th. Is that right?
13th.
13th, okay.
Okay. And then next thing I know is that I know during the executive meeting, we've had kind of a revamp in, our job postings, and I wanted to get your input, particularly on the business team ones, because I know it was, I'm not sure directly how well or how you kind of saw how our internship would continue on, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And that's where it's still not totally crystal clear for me, which is challenging. And we'll talk about it some in the recruitment team meeting. But I think for the business team, it's still relatively straightforward, because I think that it's still going to be in. You want to pull up the job posting we have now and see if we'll adjust it?
I have it right here.
Okay. So I'm just going to say it in words first, and then we'll go in there because I want to just say what's in my head. So for me, the first thing is the management and administration of the whole team, all the teams, right?
Mhm.
And especially as that may start to change as we start to intermix professional people in with the teams, which is about to start happening as well.
Mhm.
So so then it probably is going to morph into more of like an organizational structure, with different people in different positions and an org chart rather than necessarily like teams. I still haven't decided, and that's what we'll kind of have to
Mhm.
still keep figuring out. But either way, the business team is still going to be the team that's made up primarily, ideally, we really haven't had a lot of this, but people that are studying business administration, MBAs, or people in the business school that are studying how to manage different office environments and different hierarchies and structures, and also that have experience in professional settings with management, and really getting people in here that have experience and then know how to help work with the students and the students applying principles. But we really need to essentially bring all the organizational and management expertise that we can bring into the project, to be able to really have it managed more efficiently and effectively as a business. I feel that the way we've been running up to this point, it's been our resources have been overstretched. You and some of the others have taken on, you've been doing more business in here than you've done outside, right, for the most part, and it's been more of a focus. And to have more people that like that's what they're studying and that's what they're training and that's what they're experts in, and start to really build out the business team with a lot of business people, business people and business majors, but both, and bringing in the business people that have the experience and the business people that are coming in. So that's what I would say is going to continue to be the main focus. And then it's going to get into all the tools that we're using, like Slack or ClickUp or whatever it is, onboarding people, being like support for people with any tools that we're using, knowing all of the procedures and rules, being able to manage all of the practicum paperwork and all of that. I mentioned the onboarding, all the documentation, the Google Drive, and like permissions, the task tracker. It's one of the things I was going to bring up. All of the ways that we're managing, tracking, and administrating. So to me, that's all what's going to stay consistent, for the business team. So any questions or comments about what I just shared?
Well, I guess like my comment that I had is kind of, I think it would be really useful if we have like I'm just thinking of like numbers in terms of how many people would be like on the business team per se. So like if I think about it, I think it would be helpful to have at least one or maybe like two members who kind of stay with the business team for a longer period rather than just, a semester or for however long they can. And then maybe possibly having like probably like two or three other, business focused people who can stay for, the semester only, and then they can provide their input. But then there's still someone who is actually, who has more extensive knowledge and that can like actually, help guide maybe, I guess, like interns who decide, like business interns who decide to like join, and maybe having another possible opportunity for like those who might, like for me, like I'm personally not like a business major, but like I was interested in business, so maybe having like one or two opportunities for that's open to like others who want to like understand more about business within like Uniting for Action or just in general. So like those are just like some numbers that I was thinking of that could be useful in the future. But
I think that's good. Yeah, I definitely want to have you write those down and have us, share that with the incoming team. Um, and that's where, we'll talk a little bit tonight about, all the different things we kind of want to package up and leave for the next, semester of students. But I think everything you shared is really on point. And in particular, to me, what I'm seeing more and more, and you tell me your thoughts, you mentioned, one core student that's staying on longer. I actually am seeing that more and more as like a staff person.
yeah, that was kind of like my idea for it.
Yeah, that it's actually somebody that's not a student, but is actually part of the staff that's staying consistent and knows how to
Mhm.
work with all of the students and how to share everything and how to manage the whole, to be in charge of the business team, right? As
Mhm.
a staff person and really to manage all of that. So I think that that's, definitely where we're going. Even to have one staff person that's splitting their time between all of the teams to start with would still be, a huge help.
Mhm.
So I think that's going to be, one of the very first people that we hire to do that sort of thing. So I think, yeah, I appreciate where you're coming from with that. And I think, having some students, and that's the challenge too, because like James was going to be one of those people, right, where he was imagining being here all the way through the end of the spring. So, but then things happen, and same thing with Edward before him was planning to be long
Mhm.
term. So, yeah, it's challenging to plan when we plan, and then it changes, right?
Yeah.
But I'm getting off track. It's great what you shared. Any other ideas or thoughts around that you want to share?
As of right now, I think like conceptually it's like pretty down, especially yeah. Like
Yeah, I
what were
want
you
to
gonna
go through the actual posting here
say?
now, but is there anything else from what I shared or what you shared that you want to add to or clarify or anything?
Uh, I think for now, it's I kind of got most of like what I was thinking out already. So
Okay, perfect. Okay, so yeah, that overview. I mean, I'll have to go into that. I know everyone used that overview and that over. Do you know where that overview came from?
oh yeah, it's from the I maybe I can find it right now. Let's see. I'm just gonna look. I think it's in the recruitment, but it's from like the general public health, yeah, job posting.
Oh yeah, so the one that we were using before.
Yeah. Let
Hmm.
me try to find it. Job description. It's this one. Maybe it's not this one actually.
It's okay. I can look for it later.
Okay.
I appreciate you mentioning it. I think yeah, it's we don't need to get into that part now. So then the mission, then the video, then the job title, business team co-leader, team member. We're actively recruiting interns to join our business team. These members would be responsible for helping to manage and support Uniting for Action's goals and systems. You will work with a cross-functional team to ensure availability and maintain documentations and records of projects and members. You will be responsible for, but not limited to, research best practices and compare them to our current practices, produce an electronic policy and procedure manual, manage tracking of student progress and practicum hours, ability to work independently and take initiative in completing tasks, utilize a project management systems, i.e. ClickUp and Slack. So requirements, membership define skills that majors include business, human resources, health services administration, business administration, other 3 hours. Part-time. So for what you just mentioned, that, like you mentioned, you know, the opportunity for people like you that are interested that aren't necessarily one of those majors. Is
Yeah,
there a
I
way that
think,
you would say that? Where you
or
don't-
we can just say like, we
or
can
you
say
think
we encourage everyone to apply though, regardless of, which major.
majors, maybe something like, well, we can just leave it for now. I
Yeah,
don't want
okay,
to, I don't want to get too nitpicky right now. I want to get through the main parts of this. Okay, so it's really those bullets above that are the main ones, right?
Yeah.
Everything else is pretty standard.
Mhm.
So, okay, so it's those bullets right there. Research, produce, manage, ability, utilize. Yeah, so I think that they're generally pretty good. I think I'll just have to spend a little bit of time sitting and seeing if I want to adjust any or change any, but I think in general, they're pretty much covering, you know, what we need. I can't, is there anything that I said before that wasn't included in here?
Uh,
I would have to, I think, refer to the, you know, the transcript to see, but I think
I
it's
think like
all,
the only thing is like it's kind of embedded within like what's already there, but kind of the idea of like being kind of being the standard business team, if that makes sense. Because I remember in the executive team meeting, you kind of talked about how we'd have like standard set practices and then other teams would like follow that. But I kind of think that's included within, our best practices. So I'm not sure if that like completely encompasses everything.
I see what you're
Yes.
saying. Yeah. I see what you're saying. So you're saying like for
Kind of like,
you, for users of the system that are looking for some kind of support or knowledge of best practices of the types of things that we're doing is what you're saying, right?
mhm,
Like we're
yeah.
using ClickUp or using some different tools that we're using for them to kind of get up to speed on it.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But like
Yeah,
it's like all parts of it are kind of included within it. It's just
right.
like not like fully, I guess it's like responsible for, but not limited to. So
Yeah, yeah, I think that's good. I think it's covered in there, like you're saying. I think, let me just pause on it for a moment. I think maybe just say as like a top bullet point, um, something along the lines of refine and oversee our organizational management structure, or something along those lines. You know what I mean by that?
yeah, kind of just like looking over the entire system as a whole.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, again, like if we're gonna have teams or whether we're gonna change it, and then like doing the whole like management, um, you could say management structure, including teams and team leaders or something like that. Line and oversee. I'm more getting the idea of it now than
Mhm.
getting the words exactly right. But I think I think that's in addition to everything else that's there right now, right?
Mhm.
Okay, I think, again, I'll focus a little bit more on the words later, but I think that's pretty much covering what we need. What do you think?
Yeah, it kind of just shows that like you'll be looking at things from like a broader perspective, like communicating between each teams and such.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, good. So I think, okay, so I think we can leave it at that for now for this one.
Okay.
And you want to go to the project manager one that you did as well?
Oh yes, I could hop in for that one. That one we haven't really had a lot of edits for that one because it's fairly new and we've just yes.
I'm
But
s-
it's currently in the business team just right when you enter. It should be right here.
So just so I know where that was, because I lost you for a moment there. So this is in which folder?
It's just it's not it's just in the
In the
business team
main
folder. Yeah.
folder, and it's called what?
It's called UFA job description. I should put let me put project management into
Job description overview,
but I will just put
project management.
yeah. Project management. Okay.
Okay.
And a lot of it is basically the same. It's just the overview is the same.
Right,
I think the only thing that's different is right here.
right. Project management system help ensure members would be responsible for using a project management system to help ensure that uniting for action their goals and objectives. Comparatively, you will also be responsible for finding a system that will ensure forecast and task tracking. You will be responsible for managing projects, schedules and tasks, planning, execution, project objectives and goals. Work on a project management system assisting team with the development of the project schedule. Yeah, this is again where it's getting a little muddy for me because what projects are we going to run internally? It's going to be things like some of our web development stuff, but that's kind of handled inside of the web development people, I think.
Like what if like the project management intern would just be kind of managing this United Faction as a whole, regardless of like, what sections you are, and then possibly having like what if there's more project management interns, we could like have a intern per like project that is created.
That's the thing is, to me, the project management interns are the ones that are actually helping to either, they're the users of the system. Actually, that's the thing is I don't see, I mean, I imagine we're going to be able to use some project management interns somewhere and we'll figure out where internally, but really it's more that they're users of the system. And then we're convening a team of the users to be able to help, share ideas and develop best practices of what project management best practices looks like using the collective solutions framework.
Mhm, mhm.
That
Yeah,
makes
that
sense.
makes sense. Yeah.
So basically, we're just taking that whole layer, that whole project management layer of the framework, and we're just, putting resources into it and letting the students, the interns, choose, where they want to do that, right? Basically, they're just going to tune into the channel that they want to, develop expertise within, and then they will either find others to co-create with at that channel, or they'll be the first ones there and they can just get it started themselves.
Mhm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. This just kind of popped into my head, but like, what if it was possible to, I don't know like how Wallace could be created, but kind of having like a full set of like, I wouldn't say like a course, but kind of like having all of the information that's, related to project management all directly set within like a document so that other people can reference it if they need like help with managing a certain project that they're creating.
Yeah, you're totally on the money. That's where we're going with it all, is really that whole collective knowledge base, right? Of
Mhm.
all of that stuff. So that, for very specific things, there's already a roadmap that
Yeah.
somebody created, right?
Yeah.
Because for almost everything that everybody does, there's already been somebody that's done that. We just don't have their roadmap available. So we have to start from scratch, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So again, that's really where we're going with this, is everybody gets to learn from everybody else. And that's why we're creating these like protocols and nano actions and the things that we can kind of narrow down to a discernible block, right? That can be a interchangeable block within the system, essentially. So, yeah, I think in terms of, like a course, like you're saying, I think for sure we want to start to develop that level of specificity. And I think that the protocols that we've been writing so far kind of do that. What do you think?
I'm not sure if it's like exactly towards like project management, because I know like with project management there's like certain guidelines to creating goals. I didn't necessarily see that within the protocols, but
That's a good point.
yeah.
The protocols are not, I shouldn't make the same kind of that they're the same. The
Mhm.
protocols are not like a project being executed. They're more of like a step by step of
Yeah.
how to do things. But I think like you're describing is more of like a tutorial type of thing, which
Mhm,
I think
mhm.
definitely could be helpful. And so just like we've created other tutorials, I do think that we want to internally develop that best practices so that, either we're developing the tutorials or somebody that's doing it is developing the tutorials and sharing them with us somehow. Like you're saying, we're making it easy for people just to plug in and be consistent.
So like, would you, in terms of getting a project management intern, would it be useful to have, like if we do like gain a project management intern, they would be then responsible for, kind of laying the groundwork for creating one of those tutorials and or whatnot?
Well, the team would.
Mhm.
So the way that I see it working is that each project management intern that shows up goes off and works in a certain channel, or maybe some of them
Oh, okay.
band together and work in a certain channel. And then within that channel, then they're connecting with the different stakeholders, the different nonprofits, the corporations, the experts, the universities, whoever, and the individuals who's ever at that channel, right?
Mhm.
And then, they're working together to develop a collective pool of resources and solutions, and then implement solutions down to the project level and the project management level, right?
Mhm.
So then it's a matter of showing up. Can I share my screen for a moment?
Yep.
Then it's a matter of, the intern showing up and, finding a project, in that ecosystem to help manage, right? To help be a part of. And
Okay.
so as an example, so here's a mock of one of our leadership council members' profile pages. This is Dylan, one of our leadership council members. He's a ocean engineer. And so this is his project, this mariculture, which is like permaculture in marines, in the marine world. So he's growing coral and shellfish and seaweed and finfish. And so he's got the description video here, and he's got his GoFundMe here, and he's describing it here. And then down here are the videos of the conversations that he and I have had talking about these different things. So again, this is where he's already got a solution that he's mapped out that he submitted to, someplace. So again, if some project management intern, especially somebody that's, in ocean engineering, or something that's very specialized to that, of course, would be very interested. But even somebody that just wants to have experience as a project manager could choose that project and plug in and work with Dylan and work with others to help manage the project. So you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do see. And now like another like question popped into my head, and that was pertaining towards a project management intern. They're able to choose which project per se like they want to work on, but how would like they be accepted into like being that team's project manager? Is there going to be like a certain protocol for that, or is it like how?
Well, it's going to be, I think at some point best practices will be developed for that.
Okay.
Right? But the answer to that is kind of the answer to everything around the whole, framework and all of that, is that I can only tell you what I think is a good idea, but really what we want is we want the experts that really have something to say about it to show up and have a conversation and come up with what the best practices are, right? So that's really the idea, is that those that really have, better ideas about how all of these specific things should be done are showing up to give their opinion and sort that out.
Okay.
Does that make sense? Does that answer?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but the only thing is like, okay, yeah, look, they'll like choose like the entire like. Okay, yeah, I guess kind of, I'm like kind of there.
I imagine as we get better and better at it, that there will become a standard way or some certain standard ways of, if new people are showing up, how do they get integrated, kind of thing.
Okay.
I think it's going to be somewhat similar to, a business with a new employee showing up, right? How do they get integrated? I think it's just going to depend, based on the level of sophistication of how they're plugging themselves in. So if they're like a project manager, again, if they're the first ones there, they're the manager of the project,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
But as new people show up and there's multiple managers, then yes, there will have to be some process for sorting that out. And yes, it would be helpful if there was like a best practices, for that, based on, some long established, business standards that, manage that well, right? Or whatever.
Okay.
That's, yeah. But again, that's where we need to get those types of people involved in answering those questions.
Yeah. Okay. That yeah, I get it now.
Okay, cool. Let's I think just to kind of wrap up the project management side, because I want to see, I think we still have some more things on the agenda, right? I think right now, well, I think the way it's written, you want to pull up the description again? I think the way it's written was very appropriate for the way we were managing things before. But I think now with the way I just described it, the description's a bit different because it's
Mhm.
more of like them, I don't even know. I mean, maybe those different things are going to be a part of it. I guess it is. I mean, I don't know what normal. Did you reference some existing project
Yeah,
management? You did,
yeah.
so you pulled from what they have. I don't even know what SMART/FAST
Oh,
project objectives and goals are.
oh, that's something I added because like when you like as a public health major and you do like evaluations, you kind of learn about creating like objectives that are, I forgot what the S is, but measurable, and like there's certain guidelines to creating a goal and then
Yeah.
like how to accomplish it.
Right, but we're asking them to do that and I don't even know what. But well, that's a detail, but I think, well, I just have to mash my head around what we just described, but I think it sounds like you've got the main things that are normal components of a project management description. Is that what you would
Yeah,
say?
yeah. Because what I also did was I looked at like because I have like some small experience with project management through like other programs, but
Mhm.
then I kind of thought about like what you generally do, and then I also looked at other. I went on Handshake and looked at project management interns, and then I kind of
Mhm.
saw what they all had and pulled some stuff from it.
Got it. Okay, that sounds good. So I think it's pretty good at this point. And again, maybe I'll make some slight changes, but I think it's more on the right track there. I think somehow I'll just have to explain how they're going to be choosing their own project or
Yeah,
their own issue area, right?
yeah, I think that would generally be in like this section somewhere, like I had like a sentence where it's like
Do you
they
want
have
to
the ability.
try to
Yeah.
add that now? What else do we have on the agenda? And let me look at what
Uh,
my notes are as well to see how much else we need to cover in the next 10 minutes.
The only thing I had was I know you mentioned it like a couple weeks ago, but we never had like the phone meeting. But it was changing the Google Drive to the United Faction.
Yeah, so I changed the name today, as you saw, and I've been starting to change certain things. I haven't created my new team at unitingforaction.com account to replace the team at vaccineconsiderationsproject.com yet, so I have to do that still. But yeah, I think it's just a matter of, I don't know where else there are things that say, vaccine considerations project, that should be changed. So, and you might have seen I was changing some of the WhatsApp stuff. So I think
Yeah,
it,
I did.
yeah. So I think it just, I just, every time I see it, I have to change it. And that's, I think, just the main thing at this point.
Yeah, and I guess like going forward, just I know we started already, but when new people join, just make sure that it's the United for Action email. But that's in the handbook. We changed that already, so that should be good.
Okay. Yeah, that part gets to one of the things I want to cover, which is, all the things that we have to have on the list of the business team to, be on top of. Um, so is that all laid out in the handbook, or is there some other location that we have like the
Or
responsibilities of the business team, what the business team has to be on top of and all of that?
I feel like the to-do list. The to-do list is currently just now in like the business team.
Like just as an example, like I I I guess it wasn't on your list of managing the time tracker and updating the time tracker and have everybody work off of the new time tracker this week. So that was, ISA2 is doing the team hours weekly, and that kind of got replaced by the time tracker. But once
Yeah.
ISA2 left, I didn't see you creating the time tracker for this week.
Oh yeah, because I kind of assumed that it would just go straight to the current time tracker thing. So I kind of did not really send out the message for it.
But what do you mean that it would just go to the current time tracker thing? Because I I had to create a new tab today and all of that and get new numbers and all of that. If you want to look it up, or I can.
Oh, okay, okay. Because I kind of, part of me was like, oh, we're kind of, it didn't kind of click that we're kind of using the new system instead of using the old one. Because I was like, oh, the old system's gone. We might not use the same protocol, but I could start doing that if that is needed.
Well, it
That
needs, it's a part of the business team's responsibilities. So that's why I wanted to make sure that you, you know, were aware. If you go, you want to go to the,
Yeah.
go there
Okay.
and go to the, not in the business team, but yeah, under teams, I think it is. Yeah, the team team hours are outside, but yeah, so here when you go, yeah, into the, so this is where, you know, today I created this new tab and then asked people to confirm their new estimated hours, because I can't see your different tabs, but if you go to the previous tab, oh, now they're there. So if you go to week of November 15th, that was where, you know, that tab at the bottom.
Sorry, my laptop's a little slow right now.
That's okay. So that's what was here, you know, this morning. And then, but we needed to, this week especially, we need to be on top of the time tracker. So that was where, again, I know we're short staffed with this, but the business team needs to be the ones that are making sure that this is happening.
Okay, yeah, going forward, I'll start making sure this is filled out. It just slipped my mind. I completely forgot about it.
Okay, so yeah, so we'll talk about it in the executive team tonight, because we'll figure out what are going to be like the major tasks for the teams and that sort of thing. We'll at least talk about it some. But I just want to make sure. So that's the thing. Also, I want to see, like I was saying, is it in the handbook or is it somewhere else? Where is, like, here, like, you know, that the onboarding stuff is stuff that the business team has to do, right? And we know that keeping track of the practicums. And speaking of which, ISA2 sent me a message today saying that she had messaged the business team about her evaluation deadline, which is just in a couple of days. And so I didn't know that. Is that on a calendar somewhere? This is where, again, we need to.
It's not on a calendar because we didn't create a calendar system in a way. So, but I did see like a message. I guess going forward, I guess this is kind of like one of the kind of things that we should probably think about, is that when we get a message through, like, because it's in the business team email, maybe like confirming with you after we receive an email that you received it, and then like,
oh yeah, I'm not receiving the business team emails.
Okay.
I'm letting the business team receive.
Oh, okay.
I don't even see, I haven't seen any of the business team emails to this.
Okay, yeah.
So, but yeah, that's where it was a surprise to me when ISA2 said that. So this is where I want to make sure that there's more communication between me and the business team. There does need to be a calendar, because we're going to have a few other people that are going to have needs within the next couple of weeks, and I don't know when I need to have their evaluations done, especially all the CU people, right?
Yeah, okay.
So again, that all needs to be calendared out so that in advance, you know, I know and they know and we all know. So is that something that you can sort out this week, or?
This week I'll try to see if I could work with a Google Calendar and maybe just share that directly with you. So if I get any incoming possible, you know, things through the business team, then I'll just add it to the calendar, and then I'll message you if I add something.
Okay, that's great. I appreciate that. I think the thing is, not, you know, it's not just about the emails that we receive, but actually like proactively reaching out and one and making sure we know what the dates are and the requirements are and all of that sort of stuff. So, and then just having the system for that, right? So what's the protocol that you're doing that the next person should do, you know, when they're doing it next semester? So if you can just, you know, outline the whole protocol as you're doing it, so that it's the system that we've got down. So does that work for you?
Yeah, I could work on that this week. And also for a quick update, I will also be needing a review of regarding saying that I completed my hours here. So just a quick update on that.
So is that something I need to do online or?
Yeah, they still haven't sent me the direct link, but when it's done, I'll send it right to you.
Okay, great. Um, okay, good. So yeah, that's the main thing, is just having all of that mapped out so that, you know, I've got everything and no surprises, and again, having it all systematized. So I think that'll be good with the Google Calendar, and
Mhm.
we'll go from there. Okay, good. So that covers everything that I wanted to cover. I think, again, that sheet of responsibilities, let's just really, can we look at that next week? We don't have to get into it now since our meeting time is
Okay.
over, but next week, can we look at like the whole list of responsibilities for the business
Yeah.
team, for business team members and all that sort of stuff, to review that?
Okay.
Okay, great.
Sounds-
Um, okay, great. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate especially you, you know, taking on creating the protocol for the following up with the practicums and everything. That will be really helpful, and that'll make a big difference. So awesome, Tatiana. Thanks so much for that. That's really
No
great.
problem.
So give me an idea, just so, well, we'll talk in the next meeting. So,
Mhm.
okay, perfect. All right. Anything else?
No, I think we're all set.
Okay, great. I'll see you in a few
Okay.
minutes.
Okay. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.